Good evening, everybody. As I promised earlier days that we will definitely come back with our August webinar series with Web Platform for Dialogue. This is a platform when we can able to share our thoughts, our thinking process, our research ideas from our experts, and we can have the opportunity to know something that we really don't know, or we know, but some unknown facts in a very uh, similar or kind of a dissimilar way. So sometimes what we actually know is not the correct one that we believe. So let's start with today's session with Dr. Khadija Tirha from France. Right now she is in, but she is actually based in Italy. She's a wonderful scholar in the field of dialogue sharing process. Uh, her full name is Dr. Khadija Tirha, considered to be as Afro-European from Moroccan parents, but right now she is in Italy. So she grew up in Italy, uh, and she arrived in Italy when she was age of 6. She has a bachelor degree in international relations for development and cooperation, and currently, she is doing her master's in international relations, Mena politics in Turin, and in COSM master in comparative analysis of Mediterranean societies at Faculty of Governance and Economics of Rabat. In these years, she has participated in several international conferences, webinars like this, because right now we are having lots of webinar series in international aspects. And she already participated in many international exchange programs, in training courses in France and Albania, Greece, Turkey, Moldova, Palestine, Hungary, Qatar. That motivated her to continue to give the best about youth participation. And that is very important nowadays, that how youth have been motivated, how youth are being mobilized with today's world scenario, with the international crisis time. So I really welcome for today's webinar series, and we are really willing to hear from you, Dr. Tirha, that how you can elaborate session particularly on today's very important topic, that let's dialogue through human library, and that's very interesting. I really appreciated that you have selected this particular topic. So let's not talk much, and I open the floor for Dr. Tirha, and we will have definitely question answer session, but at the last of your presentation.
Thank you so much. Namaste, Dr. Swati. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for this amazing invitation. I will talk about my story, but before to talk about my story, I will introduce myself. Who I am. I'm Tira Khadija. I'm Moroccan, but I'm also Italian, so I consider myself Afro-European. Afro because I was born in Morocco. European because I'm Italian and I'm raised in Italy. I'm graduated in International Relations of Development and Cooperation, and now I decided to do a double master degree between Italy and Morocco. I did this choice because I felt that I need to know more my homeland, that is Morocco. So I decided to study there. I did 2 semesters in Morocco, in the capital of Morocco, Rabat, and it was a really an amazing experience for me because I met a lot of people and I also knew a lot of things about my homeland. I will talk about volunteerism because my path started thanks to volunteerism. I was involved 7 years ago. I was involved in this NGO. It's an Italian NGO, and I worked with them for 7 years. And I'm really happy because they believe in me. They gave me a chance to be myself, and they helped me to overcome all my limits. Because when I was in the high school, in the second year of high school, I was victim of bullying. And I know that you know what does it mean to be victim of bullying or the bullying in general. I was victim because because of my skin maybe, or my I don't know, my nationality, because when I was victim I wasn't wear the hijab. So you can imagine that it was really shock for me to be a victim of bullies without hijab. I decided to put my hijab in the same school when I was victim, because I decided, okay, I can't stay in this situation. I can't stay all the time afraid. I have to raise my voice. I have to be myself. And thanks to this NGO, I was be able to be myself, and I work for them to, and I promote in my society, in my community, peace dialogue, intercultural dialogue, and interfaith dialogue. I did volunteerism around the world. Dr. Swati, she said that I was involved in a different project around the world, in Europe, in Asia, in Qatar, in Turkey, and so on. This NGO is an Italian NGO, as I said, and they work between Italy and Africa. They work in a different field, such as education for global citizenship, in schools, education project, international student exchange. I also did two different exchange with this NGO in Greece and in Albania. Those are the NGO that I talked of them. I was in Greece, in Albania, in Turkey, and thanks to this activity, I start to advocate youth activism in my society, because I believe that if all of us we start to be active in our society, we can make a change. I start from my local city in a local way, and I become a volunteer in different countries, not all Italy. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm sure that you know this quote that is really, really famous. And I would like to start with this quote because the Yuma library is really, really important. It's a methodology. I'm not sure if you know it, but if you don't know it, I will explain how it works. This methodology changed completely my life because they permit me, oh, sorry, because they permit me to open myself to the others. And I also had the chance to talk about my path, my spiritual path, because I decided to wear hijab and it was a free choice. I always said that I'm free woman. I'm not an oppressed woman. I'm not sad. I'm really happy and I'm proud to all the choice that I did, you know. And thanks to this methodology, I had the possibility to raise my voice, because when I was victim, I was really how can I say, closed in my mind. I was really um, unable to talk with people. And when they told me, you can share your story, you can share your thoughts, your ideas with other people that are different from you, that they don't believe, for example, in your religion, but they can respect it, even if they are not religious and they don't have any faith, you know. And the Yuma Library is a kind of tools. It's a methodology recognized by the Council of Europe since 2000. And it's really an impactful methodology because you become a kind of book. For example, if you bought a book, you start to read this book. In the Human Library, we are the book. So the story of the book is our story. So we decided to share our story with this kind of framework. And we share our story, where in this case, I share my story with students in the high school, and I did it for 7 years. So I can say that I talked with 7,000 or 8,000 students in all my region. How does a Yuma library work? The Yuma library is a concept, as I said, where people transform themselves in a books. The books are people. So I'm the book. You are the reader. You start to read my book. That is my story. And the Yuma library the aims of the Yuma Library is to break the stereotypes, break racism, break the fears of diversity of people. So we decided to use the tool of dialogue to transform our fears in a dialogue, in a possibility to know the other people. I decided to share with you this photo because it was my first living library 7 years ago. I was really, really excited and in anxiety because it wasn't really simple for me to share my story, to talk with people. But I started from this Yuma library, the first one, and I did maybe 50 Yuma library or maybe more than 50 Yuma library in Italy. I also did it in Qatar, in Morocco, and in Albania. Each of us as a Yuma library has a kind of title. My title is Khadija, stranger by name, because I have an Arabic name. I don't have an Italian name or an European name. My name is Khadija, and you can also recognize that I'm stranger by name. Italian by fact because I'm Italian. I'm raised in Italy, and I consider myself as an Italian people, as an Italian person. I have a double citizenship. I'm Moroccan, but I'm also Italian. And when I applied for the conferences, youth summit, and youth exchange, I applied as an Italian citizen. So I also became a representative of Italy, and this is really amazing for me because it's a proud for me to represent my country, that is Italy. That's not mean that I'm not proud to be Moroccan, of course. I'm proud to be Moroccan, but also Italian. In this event, it was last year. I attended an international youth summit in Pakistan, and I decided to wear a Moroccan dress with an Italian flag. This because I really want to show the people that I'm Italian, but I'm also Moroccan, and I'm Muslim. 3 years ago, thanks all my commitment in this NGO, the LVI NGO, I was recognized as as a European, young European of the year 2017 from this federation that's called FOCSIV. FOCSIV is a federation is an organism of different organization, Christian organization. And for me, it was really emotional and really proud for me because I won an award by a Christian federation. That means interfaith dialogue, because I work with them even if they are Christian and I'm Muslim. And this is really important for me because the Muslim, the Christian, the atheist, the Buddhist, the Hindu, each religion, each characteristic, we can work together because we have the same object, we have the same goal. We want to live in a peaceful society, and we can work together. We must work together. I also I want to say that I started by my community. I started to be involved in a community, in my community, and thanks to my activism, I was be able to reach the international events such as this one in Doha. I was invited as a delegate, as an Italian delegate in the Euro Arab International Youth Forum in Doha, and they also invited me in Doha. They invited me to represent the European side in a TV show program. So I talked about my story, my activism in Italy, in Doha, in Arabic. It was a challenge for me because it was the first time that I started to speak in Arabic in the television. I speak Italian more than Arabic. So it was really amazing for me to have this opportunity. Okay. No, wait. And here I was in Tunisia. I was invited to to participate in this Mediterranean University of Young and Global Citizenship, Youth and Justice 2019. And in this stage, we work about dialogue and human rights. Especially, we worked on the topic of not speech movement. So we talk about bullying, cyberbullying, and I was a promoter of my NGO, of our NGO, and they talk about my experience as a Yuma library. Here I was in Indonesia. I applied for this an amazing summer camp in Malang, and I would like to spend some time to talk about this experience that I did last year. I attended the third Intercontinental Youth Forum about interfaith dialogue on violent extremism. I was selected as an Italian delegate, and I was the only one. And this is really a proud for me. I met 1,000 of people that work in the field of violent extremism from Europe and from Africa, all Africa. And I met those people that are really engaged in this field, and I decided to study and to learn and to increase my knowledge in this field. Thanks to this opportunity. This is another opportunity that I did in Budapest. Is the 7th edition of Euro Arab Youth Forum. This is the summer in Pakistan. And this year in March, I was invited to speak as a speaker to speak about my experience in Italy as a youth worker in the Erasmus Global Partnership Mena Forum in Morocco. And they invited me to talk in this fishbowl discussion about the role of global citizenship education in building sustainable. I talked about the Yuma library in this stage. I share my thoughts that I really believe that we have to talk and to spread our stories, because who knows, we can be an inspiration for other people, for other youth around the world. I'm believe that I can do much more what I did in the past, and I'm sure that if I share my story, maybe I can be an inspiration for other people. So I believe in the power of sharing, in the power of storytelling. I will conclude my presentation with this amazing quote that I'm sure that you know it. Be the change you want to see in the world. This is the slogan of my life, because I always try to be an example for others and to start by myself, because if we want to change the world, we have to start from ourselves. Because if I change some habits, bad habits, I can transform those bad habits in a good habits, and I can change my vision. And I have to start from my family, because if we want to eradicate the racism, we have to start from our family, because we have racism in our family, in our culture. We can't we can't say that, okay, those are racist. No, but we are racist as a culture, as a country, as a nationality. We have to work before in our culture, in our countries, and then we can spread peace around the world. This is what I think, because I believe in the change of people. I believe that the change is in our hands, but we have to start. We have to do the first step, and we can do it all together. I'm sure that we can do it, and I'm really, really happy to be here to share with you. Thank you so much. Namaste. Those are my contacts. If you know to let's keep in touch. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's really an eye-opening discussions that how we can use this particular methodology, that human library, that read an individual story is giving us the opportunity to know, not only to know about that particular person in a personal level, but also some kind of interesting stories that is actually the same story could be happen with me. So I
Yes.
think it's a quite interesting methodology that we can actually do something in our student life also.
Absolutely.
If we would have
Absolutely.
the chance to use this kind of methodology in our student life, some kind of misconception, some kind of misunderstanding could be easily, wiped out in the very early age. I think for the school student, if we try to launch this kind of program with a interfaith and intercultural dialogue sharing process, this human library is one of the biggest achievement in this way. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much.
Khadija,
So
for this wonderful
I
presentation.
just want
It's
to
a
say one thing.
crispy. Yes, please do.
Okay. If you want to know more about the human library methodology, you can find a lot of material in Google. You have just to Google human library and you will find the official website because
Right,
it's a methodology. It's recognized as a methodology and
right.
it's born in Denmark, I think in Denmark. So you can find all the materials, all the instruction because you can do it in your country. Maybe in India, I'm not sure. It still exists. I'm not sure. Maybe it
It
exists.
started. It started already.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it
So
started already.
it's really simple to do it in your reality because you have just to dialogue, talk with people,
Absolutely,
create some connection with people, be open
yes,
with,
yes,
and that's it.
yes. Be open and be share your stories. I think people
Absolutely.
are quite afraid of having judgment, because some people are very judgmental, and some kind of negative bias and comments would come around. So people are afraid that not to share, whatever happened to me, just
Yes,
be
yes.
within myself, or not to
And
share. But I think that
and
is the starting point when we actually
yes.
start sharing.
Yes,
Yes.
you know that another things when I did the Yuma library in the high school, it was a little hard comparing the Yuma library in the, for example, in the square or in the open event. With students, it's a little hard to talk because you have to prepare them before the Yuma library activity. So we work with the teachers. We start to talk about integration, dialogue, tolerance, and then we did the human library activity because it's not really simple to talk with, for example, Khadija with a scarf or Abdullah that is from Somalia and it's a refugee. We are different person and we have different story. For example, in our association, we are 4 or 5 people and we have a different story. For example, there is my story. There is a story of a refugee guy or girl. There is a refugee. There is another story of LGBTQ. So they start to talk about their sexual orientation. We have a story of disability because those who are disabled, they face of disability, they face a lot of problem, a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination. We have also a story of how can I say violence issues. So we have some women that they decided to share their story because they were victim of violence in their home, in their relationship with
Domestic
their partner.
violence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
domestic violence.
domestic
So we
violence.
have a different field of story that represent the discrimination. And it's really hard to talk about those kind of topics in the education system because maybe you, for example, in my side, I found some problem, not all the time, but I found two times a problem with the teacher because they told me, but in the school you can't talk about religion. But I said I don't want to talk about religion, but if they ask me why you decided to wear hijab, it's related to my religion, so I can't reply with another answer. I have to talk about my religion.
Very
But
true. Very
he
true.
told me, no,
It's
we are.
connected. It's
Yes,
connected.
yes,
You
he told me,
can't,
no.
deny that
Yeah,
hijab is directly related with your religion,
yeah,
and when
yeah,
it's
yes, he told
automatically
me.
interrelated.
Yeah, he started to talk
Yes.
to told me, no, but we are in a school. you can talk about religion. We want to talk about another topics. But I said, but it's my story. It's related with religion. I don't want to start to say, okay, we have to revert to Islam. It's not my idea. It's not my intention. I just want to share my story. That is a positive story because I'm not oppressed.
Absolutely,
I'm a free
absolutely.
woman. So please let me talk about my story. And he said, okay, but I don't want to listen you. Okay, you are free. You can go out. Come on. We're in a democratic country.
Yes, none of you are forcing to hear my story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's really a
right.
challenging experience of me, but I'm happy because I know that I can't uh, like by everyone. Of course, we are different. We have a different idea, opinion, but I pretend the respect because if I respect you, you must respect
Yes,
me because I give the
yes.
respect. You can't don't want
Absolutely,
to.
Khadija. Here in that dialogue, I think eye contact number one, and respect. That is very important. When you are actually having a physical dialogue to a participant who is actually sitting in front of you, the eye contact, the body language, and the respect is
Yes,
actually showing
absolutely.
through. But in this, I think with this web platform, with this web dialogue, that is a new challenge for us because we actually may not able to see the person in presence, physically in front of us. So I think it's a real challenge. So I have one question to you,
Yeah.
that you are doing so many things in pattern of webinar, in kind of a web dialogue. How would you think, what are the main challenges that the current youth are facing to open up and to share their story in a form of this kind of webinars?
Okay. I think that the main challenge is to have the courage to speak in front of people. It was a main challenge for me to speak in front of all the people about my story because it's a personal story, and no one has the courage and no one has brave to speak up in front of people. So it's related to the courage, to the brave. If you are be able to speak in front of people, if you really want to share your story with people. It was hard for me at the beginning because I start to say, "Oh my God, I can't talk with people that they don't know me," because I was afraid of their prejudice. But I changed this kind of mind because I said, "Okay, I will share my story. If they don't like me, it doesn't matter. I share it. It doesn't matter because I share it.
That's really
Okay,
good.
for me, it's
It doesn't
okay.
matter to me.
Yes,
At least if one person is actually hearing you with interest, with respect, that is your achievement in your life. That
absolutely,
okay, I can
absolutely.
make a positive impact to one person.
Yes,
That is
yes, yes.
also very
Even one,
positivity.
and
Even
I'm
one,
happy.
even
And
one.
another things is that when we finished the Yuma library activities in the high school, we asked the students to write some feedback, some anonymous feedback if they want. If they don't want, they can write their name. And I received a lot of feedbacks, positive feedbacks, not bad feedbacks, but also the bad feedbacks that can help me to increase my way of speaking, my way of doing the activity. So it's really important to ask people the feedback because maybe they can ask you some question they don't have the courage to ask you in front of people. So I always said, I'm here. I'm an open book. You can ask me whatever you want. If you don't want to hurt me, or I don't know, if you don't want to ask me, you can write in the anonymous way, and I will reply. I will reply in front of people. And this is the challenge because not all people want to reply to those questions. But I
Okay,
said, if I don't reply, they will have this doubt for all the life. So I have
absolutely.
to help him or she to understand. my point of view. And I
Yes.
always said, guys, I'm here to talk about my story. I will never say that my story is the story of the Muslim girls around the world. It's pretty impossible. We have different stories. We have the bad story and we
Each
have the
and
good story.
everybody, each and every
Yes,
individual is a book. So
yes,
all the book have their own stories. So
yes,
not to judge with the one book with other book. So it's
yes,
very important.
yes, yes. I
It's
really
a
believe in
wonderful.
this.
It's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. It has been already started in India, but in some part of the in some part of India, and not, with some other organization called URI. URI is one of the biggest organization who are dealing with interreligious, intercultural studies and dialogue sharing in Delhi. We have separate organization, but organization, they are really doing great in terms of human library things. So I really wish that how we can introduce this kind of practice in our formal education system. So how can we introduce this human library, this kind of sessions and storytelling sessions in the formal education, how we can penetrate.
I think that we have the first thing that we have to do. It's the same things that we did in Italy. We worked with the teachers. We raise awareness with the teachers before to raise awareness with the students. Because if you don't have the permission with the how can I say it, the director of the school,
Authority, yes, school
authority or the
authority.
director, you can't do it. We have to ask the permission to the Ministry of Education. We have to say that this kind of methodology, it's really impactive, because you can have the impact from starting from the first activity. You can see
Right.
it. The impact, it's really high, because you decided to talk about the taboo. Because because, for example, in the school, you don't start to talk about the homosexuality, religion, or racism and discrimination. Those are the taboo that no one want to talk about them. If we can transform those taboo in a good way, in a good interpretation, because we don't want to do a, how can I say, the wash mind or
Brainwash.
yes, yes,
Yes.
to the students. We don't want to do it. We just want to emphasize of the dialogue in these terms. So we
No,
really
I'm
want
telling
to.
you one of an interesting story, Khadija, in this respect. When I
Yes,
applied for the international fellowship in KAICET, you heard about the name KAICET. It's a famous
yes, yes,
organization who are dealing great work in terms of the interreligious and intercultural dialogue, particularly. When I applied for that, I approached to my university. I wouldn't like to take the university name here, but it's a government organization. So when I approached them for a program funded by KAICET, they were
mhm.
just, oh, you are brainwashed with Islamic organization.
Oh my God.
That's what the first
That's the
first
point.
impact first
Wow.
impact that, oh, you went there, they brainwashed you, and right now you are
Yes.
totally been pro-Islamic and all these things. I said no, not at all. I'm
Come
a
on.
Hindu.
Yes.
I'm not pro-Hindu, but I'm a Hindu by religion, but I'm a spiritual person, but I respect all the religion. Even
Yes.
before went to KAICET, and interact with other fellows with their journey, with their stories. I was first, I am a human being, so I have full
Yes.
respect to each and everybody. I have
Yes.
some prejudice, I have some biasness about some of the activities about Islam. That was been very much cleared when I actually entered into the course and with the due journey. So I think that's very important, that we have lack of information first of all, and we have
Absolutely.
so many prejudice. That is obvious because from the childhood, when you actually born and brought up in a society who is not giving you the opportunity to mingle up, to mix up with other religious person, or from other religious background or cultural background, that is very obvious that you must have some of the prejudice and biasness. It's very obvious. But when you actually having the opportunity, because in the school's life, we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have Buddhist student all together. But the problem is with the formal education system, we're much not able to interact with them,
Yes.
directly about their culture, their religious things. We just went to a school, we just finished our study, because it's a neutral government sponsored
Yes,
school,
yes,
so no religious things would be there. So that was the main I think main problem with the education system that we are facing right now. So anyway, I really open the floor to the participants who would be interested to comment on this particular. Today's topic is totally different from the previous webinar series. It's a kind of a methodology that today we going to already discussed from Khadija, that how we can actually introduce ethical or value-based education in a very different way, sharing the story as a human book. So I really appreciate to have some questions, observations from the participants. Dr. Roman, I really would like to have your comments from this for this particular talk. Roman, can you able to hear me? Okay, anyone else would like to share their stories, if you have any kind of similar stories? Yes, please do.
May I,
I love
please?
to hear you. Kamel, please
Yes,
introduce
thank you
yourself
very much
first.
for this.
So it would be.
Well, I'm Carmel. I'm from Iraq, from Kurdistan of Iraq, in the Hook, living in a city which is famous of being a beautiful weather, and also having 24 camps for displaced people and refugees from all over Iraq and from Syria and Turkey. So actually what I found it very important about sharing, that I worked a lot in GBV, gender-based violence. So some communities, local communities, or some refugees communities, some IDP communities, thinking that they are alone facing this gender-based violence. So because I was the one working with all these different communities, I was very happy to tell them there that you have nothing special in these problems, that especially for women, all of you are sharing the same problems, the same sufferings. The local community also suffers the same. So really, I found this very important, because before they have this pre-assumptions against this community or against that community, so this pre-assumption is really destroying the social connections and destroying the unity that can happen. So when you are creating such sharing for the suffering, for the information between humans, I think this is really important, because after that, people can work together, not as individuals or as individual communities. They can just unite and work together for the same sufferings they are all suffering from. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kamel, for this wonderful insights. I really come back to Khadija for your comments on how we can incorporate where the tension-prone zone, mostly called conflict zone, how it is a very useful technique for that particular region.
Okay, I will share with you my personal experience with the Syrian refugees, because I worked for 2 years with a different Syrian family refugees in Italy, and I started to work with them as a volunteer, and then I became a youth worker. So I work with them in an official way, and at the beginning it was really hard, because if you want to talk to work and to talk with people that was and that is still victim of war, that are they don't decide to be a refugees, you know, that they love to their country, but they was forced to go abroad because they were in Lebanon, and now they are in Italy. So they moved from Lebanon to Italy in a good way, alhamdulillah, because they were part of an international project called Humanitarian Corridors, and they were really lucky comparing of the people that are still in the refugee camp in Lebanon. And I don't know if you know what's happening now in Lebanon. It's a catastrophe. They really faced a lot of problem, and we have to pray for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon because the situation is really bad. And working with them, for me, it was hard. It was a challenge because I always afraid to say or to do some things that they can hurt them. So we have to pay attention of their emotion, of their story. We can't ask them, what's happened to you? How many people died in your family? This kind of questions are horrible, are really horrible. You have to respect those people because they are a human being like us. They have their own story. They have feelings. So you can hurt them starting to talk and starting to be curious of their story. You have to respect their time. You can't have an how can I say, an approach like the human library approach. It's totally different. You have to respect their story, their position. You can't ask them a question related to the government. You can ask them, you are with or against Bashar al-Assad. You can't ask this question to the Syrian people because they don't answer you because they don't believe in you. They don't know you. And even if they know you, they don't trust in you because they faced a lot of problem in their country. So you have to be how can I say in English, to have a touch, to have a really a patient approach because
Empathy would be the correct word.
yes, yeah, to
Empathize,
empathize. Yes,
empathy towards their situation,
yes,
as if you are in that particular situation. So empathize the scenario, not the
yeah,
sympathy, because
absolutely,
sympathy and empathy is totally different. So I think empathize with that particular
absolutely.
scenario.
You have to empathize, and I'm sure that if you respect them all the time, you have to. They will open their themselves with you. They will share their story with you. They trust in you, but you don't have to force this kind of approach because you want to help them. This kind of help, it's really dangerous because they don't want uh, to have a pity or, oh my god, they are poor, they are refugees. No, it's it's wrong. It's really a bad kind of thinking. But a lot of people, they have this kind of mindset. We have to help them. No, we have to stay with them, not help them, because they don't they face a lot of problem. They don't want this kind of approach that they face the war, so they will help them because we are European and we have the resources to help them. Oh my god, it's really bad, this kind of approach. And
Yes,
alhamdulillah.
thank you so much for pointing out. It's very, very important that your attitude towards the needy, towards the poor, if you try to resolve their problem that you are rich, you are very much European attitude, you are not welcome to that particular area. People will
Absolutely,
definitely reject you.
absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Because they think that you have a colonization mindset. It's really wrong. If you want to help someone, you don't have to say, I want to help me without saying that you want to help me. Okay, because they felt themselves, okay, I'm poor, I'm in a bad situation and I need help. No, I will support you as a human being first. and then I can support you as, I don't know, as a worker, as a youth worker, as an engineer, as a medical, I don't know. But we have to pay attention of the little things, because those little things can change everything. And I learned a lot of things working with refugees, Syrian refugees. I also learned to speak their dialect. I speak Syrian dialect. This is an achievement for me, because if you want to help someone, you have to do some efforts to learn their languages, because you can't talk all the time with like that. It's really hard. You have to make some efforts to learn some few words to communicate in a good way with them, because I'm Moroccan. If I will speak Moroccan with the Syrian refugees, no one can understand me, because our dialect, it's really hard. It's really complicated to understand. But I know that if I will learn their language, their dialect, I can help them to do some things, some bureaucracy things, because they start from the beginning. They were really rich in their country. The man that I work with them, he was a teacher in the University of Damascus. He told me, I'm a teacher. Now I'm here in Italy without nothing. What I have to do in Italy? I don't want to stay in this country. He told me, I want to go in Sweden. I said, it's really hard for you to move to Sweden, because you can't go to Sweden. You are here in Italy. You received how can I say in English? The asylum, oh my God. Political asylum, is it correct? So he can't go in another country. He has to stay in Italy. And he told me, but for me, it's really impossible to understand the rule of Italy. I know that it's impossible for you, but I'm here to support you, because I'm Italian. I know how it works, our law, our rule. I support you to understand better how you can live in this country. And it was really hard, but alhamdulillah, they are in Italy since 4 years. They are happy. Of course, they are always think about Syria. Because another thing, don't think that if some people, they moved in a country, for example, about them, they moved to Italy. But our brain, they are connect with Syrian in Syria. They are always think about their family. They say, Alhamdulillah, it's okay. But I'm sure that in their inner thinking, they are sad, because their family are still in Syria. And so they can't be happy, because they are incomplete. They told me, we are incomplete because our family are still in Syria. We can't go back to Syria, and they can't go to Italy. So what we have to do, we have to be patient. We have to pray, because I'm sure that Allah, God, whatever you want to call him, they will help us, inshallah. So we have to be patient. We have to work all together. We have to make an effort. We have to believe that everything, it's gonna be all right. This is the slogan of the COVID-19 in
Wonderful,
Italy.
wonderful. Yes, yes, that's very true. Thank you so much, Khadija, for pointing out this,
Thank you.
because we always believe that, we really don't know that what will be the scenario even after so many months been passed away. And
Yeah.
still, in some parts of India, we are having lockdown. So we really trust upon Almighty only right now. And we really don't know that how the medical facilities would be actually being penetrated among the refugees, for the minorities, for really who doesn't have anything. So, homeless, the poor. We always talk about that it's a kind of a journey that we have been started with this lockdown period, and with this COVID-19, I think giving us the opportunities, as well as so many negative things has been happening all around the world. I really feel very, very bad for the friends and for the professors. I know them personally. Professor Zad from Lebanon. That I really feel for them, because actually I know the person personally. But what happened, whom we don't know. We really don't know what scenario is going on in Syria, what scenario is going on in Iraq, irrespective of so many newses just flashing in the medias. We really don't know. I think this human touch is missing. And that's what I was thinking, to bring this kind of human touch, the personal sharing, the personal engagement has been a part of this web platform for dialogue. I think this is the time when we can actually use this situation. We have to use it in a 100-200% effort we have to give. And I think this is the time when we actually delete the concept of we and others, quote unquote, we others, because we always see the people as others' problems. It's not my problem. In India, it's not happening. So what's the big deal? In India, the crisis of the minority has been there in a separate issue. It's not related with the racist issues in US. It's not related the issues in Pakistan. It's not related issues in Bangladesh. It's related. The concept is minority. The core concept is same actually. So I think, thank you so much for this kind of a wonderful discussions and more of interactive session today. Previously, we had different types of webinars actually in Web Platform for Dialogue. One is one-way lecture, only the resource person is talking and we just listen to them. But today's session is very, very important session, and it's a kind of a practice that we actually been started already. With this web dialogue, with this kind of webinars, we have started already. So I really thank you so much. This is almost at the end of the discussions. Thank you so much, Khadija, for this wonderful discussions.
My pleasure.
Yes, and I think we have to move on with this positive energy. I think it's a kind of a women bonding, rather say, because I think it's a sisterly feelings that I'm having towards you, towards Kamal, and I think this is a kind of a human bonding that is a more important rather than any kind of religious prejudice or any cultural biasness. So it's more of a personal touch that we will continue with our journey. And I really, really welcome your short kind of a write-up for Web Platform for Dialogue. It will be published. So I will get back to you with that. And yes, with a positive note, wonderful evening to you, to Kamal, to everybody who have presented here today. And we will definitely come back soon on 8th of August with other topic. It will be an interesting topic again. Who would be interested? I will share the link to join. So thank you so much, Khadija. Here I am.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best to every one of you. I'm really happy and proud to be here. It was an honor for me to be here, to share my story, to know all of you. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. I wish you a good journey in your life, in your professional life and personal life. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Bye bye. Namaste. It's a new normalcy, because we don't shake hands. We have to namaste. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye.